Okay, Dosto, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're talking about one of the most famous books in human history, The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. Now, when we hear that name, we immediately think of the massive historical weight, right? The tragedy, the whole World War II context. But today, I want to show you the girl behind all that history. We're going to look at Anne, not just as this big historical symbol, but as a witty, incredibly sharp, and honestly, a highly relatable teenager. Because, before she was a symbol, she was really just a young girl trying to figure out her world.
To really anchor the emotional core of this explainer, we absolutely need to unpack a profound realization she had. She wrote, "Paper has more patience than people." Just think about that for a second. It's incredibly deep for a teenager. See, even though Anne was surrounded by her family, she felt this heavy, almost crushing sense of loneliness and depression. She realized humans just have a limit. You pour your heart out to a friend, and they might listen for 5, 10 minutes, but eventually their patience runs out. Paper, though? Paper will listen forever. No judgment, no interruptions.
Section 1. The Girl Behind the Diary. Let's look at the historical context.
Let's move to and see how this builds. To understand Anne, we have to zoom out to the macro-historical context. Anne belonged to a German Jewish family, and with the terrifying rise of the Nazis, staying in Germany was just no longer an option. They literally had to flee. Her parents got married when her father, Otto, was 36 and her mother was 25. First came her older sister, Margot, born in Frankfurt in 1926, and Anne followed a few years later in 1929. But by 1933, the situation got so bad that her father migrated to Holland. The rest of the family followed in stages, with Anne finally joining them in Holland in February 1934. And for a while, it seemed okay. She even went to a Montessori nursery school and had a fairly normal life.
But sadly, that peace didn't last. 2 years. That is the harrowing amount of time her family spent completely hidden away. Starting in 1942, they were forced into hiding in a secret annex right inside her father Otto's office building in Amsterdam. Just imagine that. 2 whole years of absolute silence, fear, and confinement. This extreme isolation is exactly what sets the perfect stage for why her diary became absolutely crucial to her.
Section 2. Paper has more patience. This whole journey starts with a very special gift for her 12th birthday on June 12, 1942.
What's really interesting about this slide is how it perfectly visualizes her internal loneliness. Look, on paper, she wasn't alone. She had her 16-year-old sister Margot, loving parents, and something like 30 people she could call acquaintances or everyday friends. But despite all of that, 0 true friends. Nobody she felt she could truly be herself with or share her deepest unfiltered feelings with.
So she found that true friend in her diary. She affectionately named it Kitty, and on June 20, 1942, she formally dedicated herself to Kitty. You know how most people just list out boring, dry facts in their diaries like, I ate this, I went there? Not Anne. She chose to pour her pure, unfiltered imagination and emotions onto the page. Kitty was her long-awaited confidant.
Section 3. The Unpredictable Classroom. Let's shift gears a bit and look at her highly relatable school life.
So I've got a question for you. Who are the most unpredictable creatures on Earth? Well, according to Anne Frank, the hilarious answer is teachers. She came to this conclusion during that absolutely terrifying atmosphere right before a parent-teacher meeting. You know the feeling, right? Nobody has any clue what's going on in a teacher's head. This brings us to this amazing, highly relatable anecdote. Her entire class was literally shivering in fear over a high-stakes grade bet. They were terrified about who would pass to the upper class and who would be held back. 2 boys sitting right behind her, CN and Jacques, bet their entire holiday savings on the outcome. It was wild. Meanwhile, Anne and her friend GN are just sitting there, cracking up at the absolute chaos. Anne wasn't too worried about passing, except, well, maybe in math.
Section 4. The Chatterbox Essays. Getting punished for talking. Enter Mr. Kiesing. He was her strict old math teacher. Now, Anne got along with most of her teachers, but Mr. Kiesing was constantly annoyed with her because she talked way too much in class. So he punished her using this brilliant, escalating comedic rule of 3. First, he made her write an essay simply titled, A Chatterbox. When she kept talking, he bumped it up to step 2, an incorrigible chatterbox. And finally, when she got caught a 3rd time, he gave her the ultimate embarrassing topic, quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox.
Now, Anne didn't just write a quick little apology for that first essay. No way. She chewed on her fountain pen and wrote exactly 3 full pages. And her argument was pure genius.
She cleverly argued that talking is an uncontrollable student trait, and even better, that she inherited it from her mother. I mean, you literally can't cure a genetic trait, right? Mr. Keesing actually laughed at that one.
But by the time she got that third quack quack essay, the whole class was laughing at her. She needed the ultimate comeback. Luckily, her friend Sanne was amazing at poetry and helped her write a dark, brilliant satirical poem. It was about a father duck who literally bites his 3 baby ducklings to death just because they quack too much. It was a direct, clever jab right at Mr. Keesing to completely outsmart him.
And this brilliantly illustrates the power of her wit. Mr. Keesing, before the poem, super strict, constantly assigning extra homework. Mr. Keesing, after? Jolly, telling jokes. He completely took the joke, read the poem to her class, stopped punishing her entirely, and completely transformed as an educator. Her cleverness literally won him over.
Section 5. A tragic but enduring legacy. We now have to somberly zoom back out from those light-hearted school days. Tragically, the laughter of those school days was replaced by the silence of the secret annex, and eventually even that silence was broken. Anne's final entry was on August 1, 1944. Shortly after, her family was caught and sent to concentration camps. The horrors they faced are unimaginable, and Anne tragically passed away in 1945. Out of the entire family, only her father, Otto Frank, survived. He eventually made the brave decision to publish her diary, ensuring that her voice, her humor, and her pain lived on.
Which brings us to a final thought-provoking question I want to leave you with. If paper truly has more patience than people, whose stories are we failing to listen to today? Anne Frank was a brilliant, funny young woman whose life was stolen by hatred, but her diary survived because someone bothered to preserve those pages. As we close this explainer, I hope you take away not just the tragedy, but the vibrant, enduring human spirit she preserved in her writing. Thank you for joining me. Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep listening.